I have missed you so much that even though it's midnight here on the East Coast, I just have to talk to you guys. So we're going to continue with my Blu-ray collection video. We'll just go through some of my favorite movies. I don't really see a ton of disclaimers, so let's get right into it. Now, of course, when I stopped in the last video, I stopped right before the last video beginning with the letter E, so we'll finish E off. Eyes Wide Shut. This is a good movie. It's definitely not Kubrick's best. It's no 2001. It's no Shining, but it is good. Now, again, this is one of the few movies that I thought the sex scenes actually made sense. They were actually purposeful. Nicole Kidman was pretty good. Tom Cruise was kind of bad, but I could tell he was directed that way because he was essentially just doing a Jack Nicholson impression from The Shining. Because, honey, you are my wife, and I love you. You're just doing Jack Nicholson from The Shining. I don't blame Tom for that because I have a feeling he did not plan on doing that, and Stanley was like, "Well, you're going to do it." And so this is a solid movie. It's a little long. I like all the cool Illuminati aspects of it. It's pretty good. It's pretty great. It's not his best, but it is a solid movie. You should watch it at least once. All right, now we're getting into the F's. Falling Down. This would be my life if I remained a rationalist. This is what I would be doing. There is a scene in this movie that makes me laugh so hard. This guy goes to Koreatown in LA and he's pissed off at the world. And he just starts trashing this poor guy's convenience store, this Korean guy. And after he does that, the Korean guy's just standing there like, what the hell are you doing? You're acting like an animal. And he goes up to him and he goes, where are you from? The guy goes, Korea. And he goes, huh, oh, Korea, that's nice. You know how much money my country sent yours? it's like, what does that have to do with anything? It's just so dumb. Weren't we at war too? You're going to bring that up, Michael Douglas? But Michael Douglas is great in this. It kind of follows like a villain. I like that it sort of does follow it. Anti-hero. He really is kind of a villain, and he's the main character, so you don't see that very often. But this is a fun movie. Michael Douglas is great in it. Iconic. You should watch it. Fargo. Solid movie. Good movie. A little overrated, yeah, but is it still good? Yes, it's one of the best movies of the '90s. Love Steve Buscemi in it. Frances McDormand's pretty good in it. And then of course William H Macy is very funny. I haven't watched this I've watched this a while ago. And it was good. This could probably go for a rewatch, but everyone loves the films. This movie was a surprise. The Favorite, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos. This movie is awesome. I love the power plays in this. I was expecting some Barry Lyndon like just kind of a lot of pretty shots and not much story, but no, there's like power moves being played, and I love the character arcs and developments. I love the how it kind of plays on your expectations. I love Emma Stone's arc. She doesn't That doesn't mean I love where she ends and who she is as a person where she ends. But I like the arc getting there, and I like the parallel and also kind of opposite arc of I can't remember Rachel Weisz. Really good. Olivia Colman's really good. The shots are very Kubrick influenced, definitely, no doubt. But this is one of my favorite Yorgos films. You guys should watch this movie. This movie's awesome. Um, I could go for a rewatch. I love this movie. The movie's great. Ferrari. This was a recent one. This was pretty good, and I'll tell you the exact moment I decided I was going to purchase this movie, assuming it was a good price. I didn't. There's no way I'm spending $20 on this. It was a scene. Now, of course, Adam Driver, who's doing the exact same accent he does in the film Silence when he's playing a Portuguese guy, and he's doing the exact same action as House of Gucci. He plays the main Ferrari guy. Now, there is a scene in this movie where he lays out a blueprint of a Ferrari car, a model of a Ferrari car, and he brings his son. He says, "Look," and he explains all this stuff, and he draws a metaphor. He says, "This is the engine. This is like the heart, and this is boom, 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 and this is." And it was just like, I can't believe we've forgotten how to do this. It's two birds, one stone. On one hand, we're showing his mastery and his passion of cars. This consolidates our empathy with him, and we can say, this is what he is. This is what he does. He is cars. He is good at what he does. On the other hand, you are showing you're explaining things to a large extent. You're explaining the relationship to the son, and you're also touching on the aspects of his character. So this is the way he thinks. This is his philosophy. So on one hand, we're showing what he's mastering, and the other, we're showing who he is internally. I don't understand why people don't do this more often. It kind of blows my mind. But I don't know. I guess when you hire your third cousins to write your script, I guess it's different. Didn't go where I was expected. I didn't know anything about the story, and I would recommend watching it if you have it because it was a solid movie. I was actually impressed. I was kind of dreading going in. Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Everyone loves Ferris Bueller's Day Off, including me. I don't love the actor who plays Cameron because he played Succession, and I did not like him in that show. But this movie's good. I mean, this is. I was going to say this is Matthew Broderick's best work, but I don't know about that. There's another movie coming on later that I think he's really good in. But what's there to say about Ferris Bueller? It's just iconic, classic. Charlie Sheen's hilarious. He's in it for 30 seconds and he's great. Everyone loves Ferris Bueller. Speaking of everyone loving a certain popular film, Fight Club. This movie has kind of taken on a life of its own. It is really great. It's a really great movie. Some people overhype it a little bit. They say I don't even think it's David Fincher's best. We'll be getting there in a few videos, but this is still a rock solid movie. I mean, if you're into film, you must watch this movie like immediately. Not only is it really good, it's classic and everyone talks about it. This is my favorite Brad Pitt performance. I think he's dynamite in this movie, and he looks so good. I'm a straight man, but that is art. That right there is art. He looks good in that movie. Um, Edward Norton's really good. I love Helena Bonham Carter. Yeah, I mean, what's there to say about Fight Club? That you haven't. It hasn't been said. The Fighter. Haven't watched this in a while. I remember the acting was really good, especially Christian Bale. I love what they did with this character, based on a true story. The Boston accents are pretty funny. I'm the one who's got to step in the ring. Not you, not you, not you. And Amy Adams is really good too. I like that they make her like a little more realistic to Boston, where they kind of give her a pouch, which is just shocking because you don't have that in movies. And they don't give her a ton of makeup, and she does do the Boston thing. I think she does a pretty good job. This is a solid movie. I'd have to rewatch it to give a definitive like, yes, this movie's awesome. But I own this almost for Christian Bale alone. He's awesome in that movie. Filth. This is a fun movie. So based on the novel by Irvine Welsh, who also wrote another film, let's say I'll praise it when I get there. Trainspotting that I really enjoy. Again, we'll get there. So if you like that kind of writing or that kind of style, definitely check this out. It's not quite as good as Trainspotting. Let's not kid ourselves here. But it's really good. It does play with your head. James McAvoy's dynamite. It keeps you guessing and keeps you. It's not just a detective, bad boy detective thing going on. There's a lot more going on. It's a psychological study. It's into weird esoteric stuff. There's a lot going on in this movie that normally you'd be like, okay, yeah, it's just a black comedy, another British dark comedy. That no, there's more going on. Watch this, and James McAvoy is great. Let's see. First Man. This movie is underrated as hell. I will admit it is a slow burn. Man, is it directed well. And this is when Chazelle. It's not at his best, right? It's not his other films besides Babylon. We'll get there. But this movie is awesome. Ryan Gosling is awesome. I love that he's kind of playing it very subtle, very restrained. He's not doing a ton of big acting moments. I like when big actors go subtle. When not everything has to be this Meryl Streep. Oh, just give me the Oscar now, darling. No, just subtle. All the acting's great. The writing is great. I love the character arcs. I love the visuals. It is a slow burn, I will say, but slow does not necessarily mean bad for me. A slow becomes bad if it doesn't have a payoff. But this has a payoff. And I think this is really an underrated movie. It's superbly directed. The editing is great. I mean, this is Damon Chazelle in his prime. His first three films, I think that's his prime, and we'll see this year. I think there's a new movie coming out. Actually, now that we're on it, I saw Babylon in theaters. Now you have to understand. I guess I'll spoil a little bit this collection. So Whiplash is the movie that got me into film. That was the first movie I watched. I went to an independent theater in Baltimore to see it. I've never done that before. I never really cared about movies. I was just starting to get into it. And then once I saw that movie, everything changed. I was like, wow, what is this? I could not stop thinking about that movie. In class, I would just be thinking about it. Oh my God, that movie was incredible. It was kind of a numinous experience to an extent. And that was the movie that made me realize, oh, there's someone behind the camera too. So it was a truly a formative film for me, and that's why it might be my favorite film of all time, even if it's not the best film I've ever seen. And then you get La La Land after that. La La Land is again, I love that movie, and I don't even like musicals. It's not an amazing musical, but it's an amazing movie that happens to be a musical. And I don't care about musicals, so I'll do the latter. That movie's incredible. It's in my top 20 favorite films of all time. Love that movie. That movie's awesome. The Moonlight that came out that year is also awesome. So your first two films are just complete hits, like 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10. I love those movies. And then you get First Man, which is like an 8.5 or a 9 out of 10. I mean, we're on a roll. This is a visionary here. This is one of the best directors we have. Potentially one of the greatest ever if you can keep this up. And then one day I see a trailer for this movie called Babylon. It's got a star-studded cast: Margot Robbie, Brad Pitt, all this stuff. Is better yet, it's directed by Damien Chazelle. You can imagine my excitement. And I was dating this girl at the time, and she also loved film. She has really good taste too, just like I do. And I was just sort of explaining what I just explained to you. And we went to go see it, and I was excited. And just like some other movies, we went out to eat, got some beers, we were chilling, we were going to have a good time watching this movie. And it was genuinely, literally, and I don't use that word lightly, the worst, or excuse me, the most disappointing film I have ever seen ever. I could not believe it was like I have it reminded me of what super hard M Night Shyamalan fans must have felt when they watched something like Lady in the Water or The Happening. Now it's not quite that bad, but it was just I could not believe that this mind gave me like my favorite movie of all time, at least at the time. Just so bad. So bad that I'm genuinely worried he's going to make like a Shyamalan just completely fall off. I am so nervous about this upcoming film. It seems like a make or break for me. But holy crap, Babylon was so bad. And that montage at the end, don't even. I'm just going to make myself angry. Now we're going to cleanse that out with an amazing. Actually, no, I thought this was The Good, Bad, and the Ugly. Fistful of Dollars. This was a good movie. I remember watching it, and I remember thinking, that was just a rock solid movie. And I can't remember a single scene after that ever watching it. It was completely, to a certain extent, disposable in that sense. So this could go for a rewatch. This might be on the chopping block. I think I like the idea of this movie more than I actually like it. Speaking of, Florida Project. Actually, no, I love this movie. Sean Baker is the man. Having said that, we'll get there. We'll talk about this, and then we'll get to Sean Baker. The Florida Project is awesome. This movie is it's really a beautiful film. It's beautifully shot. It's beautifully directed. I love the characters. I love the tension. I love the people that Sean Baker decided to make a story about. Willem Dafoe is amazing. Again, he's very restrained, very subtle, and not doing anything crazy. I think this probably should have. This was easily, I remember, my favorite film of 2019. I believe that's when it came, or maybe 2017. And yeah, 2019 was Lighthouse Parasite. I think this, if it meant anything, I think this should have swept the Oscars. I think this is beautiful. It's about essentially two little girls, but families, so to speak, broken families of these young poor girls, and they live outside of Disneyland. Now, of course, Disneyland is dreamland, but they don't have that privilege. And it really is just kind of a slice of life movie, and it's awesome. The kid performances usually suck, but they're great. Now we'll get to Anora. Another one. My God, people. Anora was terrible. Okay, and no amount of coping is going to change that. First of all, as you guys know, I don't like sex scenes in movies. So the first half of this movie, instead of actually getting me to care about this woman or her terrible dumb boyfriend, if that's even what you want to call it, um, all they do is bang. I could not care less about that. I could not care less. I didn't particularly like Anora. I hated that Russian uh, rich kid. He was not. What was that? He was just annoying. He had no redeemable qualities. So I had two people that I neither cared nor liked. And then the second half comes, and it becomes an infinitely less tense, well-written, or executed version of Uncut Gems with none of the stakes. What's the worst that can happen in this movie? Someone you don't like or care about, who's only in this relationship and found love because she was getting paid like 10 grand a week by this Russian billionaire kid, gets an annulment from someone else you neither care nor like. Who cares? So what? I just could not believe that everyone, that one best picture, really, with the laughable scenes where Honora is tied up like you would tie up a child, like a 3-year-old who's like hitting people too much. You just kind of lock them in. And she's like kicking these grown men who weigh like 200 pounds, and they're going airborne and flying into the glass table. Like, what is this? What is this? This is terrible. Just cope. Awful. And Red Rocket was disappointing too. I didn't even know Red Rocket existed until 5 minutes after starting Honora. I was going through IMDb and I was like, oh shit, there was a movie released 3 years ago. Because I thought there was a 7-year wait from the Florida Project to Honora. So I was super pumped. And then it was getting all this buzz, and I was like, yes. God, that movie was bad. Ford vs. Ferrari. This is a really great dad movie. Now, dad movies, when executed well, can be awesome. They're not super, intellectual or anything like that. But they're just fun, rock solid movies. It's good, well made comfort food, and that's what this is. Matt Damon's good, Christian Bale's good. Another Ferrari film in my collection. Ooh, I remember watching this on my 18th birthday, Foxcatcher, in theaters with my mother. This movie is awesome. This might be the slowest movie I've ever seen. That does not mean it's bad. The acting is knockout great. I can't. The only reason these guys didn't win anything is because there were a trillion other amazing performances in 2014. 2014 was an amazing year. I was in the theater every friggin' weekend in 2014. Steve Carell gives probably a career best. Channing Tatum gives a career best. He's playing it pretty straight, and he does kind of embody that dumb meathead kind of guy who doesn't quite understand things. And Mark Ruffalo is great in this too. Everyone in this, besides Steve Carell, these two are being very subtle, and I like that. Um, it's slow, but it builds tension. If Bennett Miller directed this, he's a great director. I wish we could see more from him. I please watch this movie. It's about Foxcatcher John DuPont, and he was a wrestling, it's like a collegiate wrestling, not a WWE sort of fanatic, and because he's DuPont, he has all this money, so he just said, well, why don't I just sort of subsidize the Olympic team, and I can surround myself with the best in the world of something that I love. And it sounds great, but the problem is he's John DuPont. He's a nut bar. So things take a turn. And by the way, if I describe to you the sort of payoff at the end of this movie, the real like what happened, the climax, you would be like, okay, so what? Like, this is not a big deal. Trust me, when you watch the film, it's like shocking. You're like, whoa, like where did that come from? All right, next up, I'll probably get this on Criterion soon. The French Dispatch. Now, Wes, if you're watching this, which I know you are, this is the limit. Okay, I like this movie. I do enjoy this movie. Obviously, this is a solid 7.5 out of 10. This is as far as you can go if you're doing the, I guess, postmodern deconstruction of the traditional narrative, having a bunch of different characters that you don't spend a ton of time with. It can work, and this doesn't work, but Asteroid City, and I guess this is the first time, apparently I'm talking about all the disappointing theatrical experiences in my life. Um, but Asteroid City, besides Babylon, like Babylon was number one in terms of disappointing experiences. Asteroid City is number two. My girl and I went to Baltimore. We went to this dive bar who had the greatest mozzarella sticks I've ever eaten, and they were like $7. I got perfectly drunk, not too much, not too little, and we walked to the theater. And I was so excited. I was so ready to see. And I enjoy and own or will own every single Wes Anderson movie. Now, some I love, some I only like. Nonetheless, at minimum, every single one is a 7 out of 10. And a 7 out of 10 to me is like a rock solid, good, worth owning movie. Even Darjeeling, I think it's better than Life Aquatic. But man, was that bad? Holy crap! It truly felt like a parody of Wes Anderson. I couldn't tell if he himself, because the film is super meta. It's like meta on meta, which is dumb and stupid. Two, I almost feel like he's doing something meta on top of that by making a parody of himself. So whether it's intentional or not, it's bad. Jeffrey Wright in this movie is amazing. Made me fall in love with him. Fruitvale Station. This is a solid movie. I remember watching it back in like 2014, 2015. And I remember really enjoying it and buying it. I haven't seen it since then. I have a feeling it will hold up. Michael B. Jordan and Ryan Coogler, who, of course, as of the time recording this, that movie Sinners is coming out. I don't think I'm going to see it. I might just to get back in the theater, but last time I did that, I saw Napoleon. Anyways, this is good. This is a classic sort of team up dynamic duo here, and they're both and maybe not at their best, but they're getting there. This story of Oscar Grant, who was murdered. It must have been by police. And this is kind of his. I think it's the day before that, day leading up to that. Full Metal Jacket. Okay, the first 40 minutes of this is absolute dynamite. A lot of it after is kind of bad. Some of the acting is not good. Who you calling Joker? Joker. Okay, that was bad acting. It was cringe when I just did it. So imagine how I felt when I see professional actors getting paid tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions. But of course, I can't. Arlie Hammer, or whatever his name is, whatever the general's name is. I mean, this is gold. This is not one of my favorite Stanley Kubrick. Once I walked into my mother's house when me and my brother were living there. I walked in and I watched. My brother was watching Full Metal Jacket. My brother does not watch good movies. I love you, Dylan, but you do not watch good movies. Um, that was a truly proud brother moment there. Like I walked into my brother watching an actual good movie. I never. That's like pigs flying in hell. All right, this movie's underrated. David Ayer, Fury. Not perfect. It really, really, really slows down in that middle scene. If you've seen it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Maybe a little too much, but overall, it's pretty good. We're not reinventing the wheel here. We're not doing anything crazy. This isn't, Apocalypse Now or anything like that. But it's just well executed. Got a great cast: John Bernthal, Brad Pitt. Brad Pitt's really good in this. Michael Pena. Oh, what is Logan? What was that guy's name? Logan Lerman or whatever. And Shia LaBeouf, who's pretty good in this. And it's about World War II, Americans who are fighting Nazis, and it's just a war movie. It's rock solid. The action scenes are great. I like almost the lasers being shot. It really looks beautiful. A lot of the shots are good. Of course, David Ayer would go on to direct. I was going to say literally the worst movie I've ever seen, but I guess Birdemic would qualify for that. But that's Suicide Squad. Maybe that'll come up later. Cardin's Day. My girl wanted me to watch this, and I'm glad I did. It was good. I mean, it wasn't amazing, but it was solid. Natalie Portman's good. I like Zach Braff in this. Zach Braff was really good in this. And I like the character arc. And I also like the father character. I felt really bad for the father character because the father character was really trying to help, and he sort of was kind of destroying his boy, but doing so unintentionally. He's doing so out of love. I just felt so bad. I was like, man, like he wasn't a cynical guy. He wasn't like some abusive guy. But this is a story about kind of a coming of age, dealing with tragedy that you may have caused, and even if unintentionally, and that sort of guilt, and what it means to live as a human being, and it's great. This is a solid movie. Kind of a hipster soundtrack too, if you're into that. Gotta have this one. Ghostbusters. Everyone likes Ghostbusters. I remember I watched it when I was young, and I remember liking it, but I didn't remember it that much. And then I watched it a few years ago, maybe 3 or 4, for the first time in probably 10 or 15 years. And I enjoyed it. Of course, the effects are terrible, but that's kind of the charm. And then the one line about, yes, this man is no dick. I remember that getting a big laugh out of me. And then another one, some of these bigger ones that you've seen like 1,000 times. I mean, what is there to say? What is there to say about Gladiator? That cannot be said. Well, I guess we'll talk about Napoleon. So I've realized this. Ridley Scott is as good as the script he is directing. This is a solid script, and this is a great movie. And this, by the way, as far as summer blockbusters go, we could use a few more of these. Not only in terms of story, but in terms of direction. So this is actually real sets, and there's wide shots, and everything is beautiful and realistic. Nowadays, everything's phony and CGI and trash. I don't like it. Glengarry Glen Ross. This is an awesome movie. Of course, Alec Baldwin is great in this, but this is just about salesmen and the struggles they do or they face, excuse me, when they have to meet their marks or meet their quotas or whatever. All-star cast. Al Pacino's great. Jack Lemmon, Alec Baldwin's in one scene. He absolutely iconically kills it, just like he killed that one girl on the set of Rust. Ed Harris is awesome. Alan Arkin's awesome. Kevin Spacey is good, and Jonathan Pryce. I mean, it's a talking movie, but the dialogue is really well written. The characters are funny, and you should watch this movie. This is a great movie. Okay, shout out to my Yaya, my grandmother. Yaya is Greek. When I was young, this is even before I watched like really good movies. My Yaya put me on to one of my top five films of all time. That being The Godfather. Oh, you're just a fan of The Godfather, so basic, so yeah, okay, yeah, shut up. Okay, this movie is awesome. I love everything about this movie. I mean, the story's a little simple, but that's about it. The direction's amazing. The acting's awesome. Al Pacino is so good. He is. This is easily my favorite character Al Pacino has done because Al Pacino is going subtle in the Godfather films. I like when he goes over the top, but in terms of like quality and merit, I think he is at his best when he is restrained and acting physically in a restrained way with the eyes, not this sort of say hello to my little friend. Marlon Brando is amazing in this. James Caan is amazing in this. Robert Duvall is amazing in this. Diane Keaton is amazing in this. The acting, the script, the shots, the composition, the setting, the mise en scène, to sound pretentious, everything about this is just top tier. Like one of the best to do it. Francis Ford Coppola at his prime. Um, this movie, I love this movie so much. It's not too long, but it's also not too short. It doesn't. It strikes this perfect balance of giving you information, but also allowing you to live in this world and just enjoy it. It's not just a get in, get out kind of thing. You can enjoy the stuff. And the character relations are amazing between Fredo and Michael, between Michael and Sonny, between Sonny and Tom, between all of them and the father, the Godfather, Marlon. I love everything about this movie. It's amazing. The one thing I've always been a little confused about is the love for Luca Brasi. Now he's a cool character, and the actor who portrayed him did a really great job. But rappers love Luca Brasi. I don't understand because it's not like he does a ton of badass things. Now, this is my favorite of the series. Is it the best? Then we got to bring in this film, The Godfather Part 2. So everything I just said about Godfather Part 1 applies to Godfather Part 2. Godfather Part 2 is one of the greatest films. These have to be, this is easily in my top 5 of all time. This is probably in my top 5 of all time. Definitely, undeniably in my top 10 of all time. I love these movies. I don't care if you call me basic. Don't care. I don't care if you call me boomer. If that's boomer, then boomers have good taste. Al Pacino is even better in this movie than he was in the first one. Robert De Niro, so you don't get Marlon Brando in this movie, but that's compensated for by Robert De Niro playing young Vito Corleone in like flashbacks. They don't share a single scene in the movie, but Robert De Niro and Al Pacino in this movie, these are two of my favorite, at least male performances of all time. Particularly Robert De Niro is great in it too, because Robert De Niro is being subtle again, and this is my personal thing. I like that. There's a time for going over the top, and that's cool. There's also a time for subtlety. In playing a young Vito Corleone, Robert De Niro does not just merely do a parody or an impression of Robert De Niro. He plays a younger version of him, which means he has similar characteristics, but he has not had the space-time, Gebser, to fully allow the internal aspects of him to come out. So there's some aspects that a young Vito would do, not old Vito. Old Vito has different experiences than young Vito, so young Vito is going to be different. And Robert De Niro is just absolutely amazing in this. Now, these are the only two Godfather films I have seen. I have not seen Godfather 3 because I heard Godfather 3 sucks, and I want to keep The Godfather pure. So for me, it ends with Michael sitting on the bench, looking dour, being stressed. That is where it ends. If it's ambiguous, I don't care. Gone Baby Gone. This is a solid movie. It could go for a rewatch. I remember Morgan Freeman's character I really liked. I really liked how they kind of played with the normal view of Morgan Freeman. This is like a child abduction movie, and directed by Ben. Hold on, was this directed by Ben? Yeah, directed by Ben Affleck. I mean, he's not a terrible director. He's not amazing, but long time ago, like 10 plus years ago, when he was in talks to direct that Batman film, um, that never came about. I wasn't really that worried because I was like, okay, well, he did this, he did Argo. These aren't terrible films. But yeah, this is a solid movie, well acted, um, cops and bad guys kind of thing. Now this one, Gone Girl, I remember seeing this in theaters too, 2014. Probably Ben Affleck's best performance. Everyone talks about Rosamund Pike. I mean, I love Rosamund Pike as much as the next one in this movie. Um, it's just a solid movie. I mean, David Fincher is he's always gonna, except for Mank. I mean, he always delivers. This movie's great. It's beautifully shot, beautifully directed. It's really funny too. Um, This movie is actually really, really funny. I remember my buddy and I in high school, we saw it and we were shocked by how much we were laughing. When he made the twin sis joke, that was funny. All right, here we go. Good, bad, and the ugly. Oh, this movie is awesome. Um, the only truly bad thing about this movie is the dubbing. The dubbing is terrible. But everything besides that is so good. The shots are so good. The action is so good. The music is so good. Whew. Clint Eastwood is good. I can't remember the other actors, but the actors who played the bad and the ugly, they are awesome. All the action's great. I like the character. I like the story too. The story is actually kind of interesting. I just, what is there to say about this? This movie's awesome. The only thing I'll say about this movie, which was hilarious, my mom and I watched it together, and there's a scene at the end of the movie. So Blondie here, Clint Eastwood, and by the way, there's so many just amazing sequences in this. Remember when he's like parched and starved from the heat and the sun, and then the bad or the ugly is kind of making him a slave or whipping boy, and then he just tosses down the bottle, and the bottle falls down on the hill of the desert and sand, and it lands perfectly on Clint Eastwood's face. I mean, there's no way that's not CGI. You had to like throw it perfectly. Just little details like that are so good, and then it just kind of stops to fight the Civil War or whatever it is. Like they have their own little story, and then they go, all right, well, I'll just fight the Civil War too. But there's a scene in this film or a sequence where, hold on, I think there's something that my cat's here. Blondie is chasing down and walking down either the bad or the ugly, and he's in a position of power, right? So he's walking and he's dressed normally. He's just got a shirt, pants on, right? And of course, he's in the desert. There's no one for 100 miles to either side of him. Hold on. Ooh, do you guys want to see a fat cat? Look at this bad boy. Look at this. My bunny. She's a big girl. So he's walking down this guy, right? And he's like, I'm going to shoot you. I'm going to kill you. He's walking silently. And it cuts to the guy, and he's like all sweating and he's crawling on the ground, like, oh, no, no. And then it cuts back to Clint Eastwood, and he just magically spawned a poncho just out of thin air. Just voodoo magic. Just boom. It just appeared on him. I have no idea how he got that on there, but it was badass. Please watch this movie. It's long, but worth it. Goodfellas. What's there to say about Goodfellas? I remember actually the first time I watched this, my dad and my stepmother at the time took me, my brother, and then my stepbrothers to Ocean City, and we rented out like a buddy's apartment they had down there. But there weren't any real movies at the TV except for Goodfellas, and I was in like sixth or seventh grade. And I remember just putting it on because I had nothing else to watch, and I was so bored. But then I watched it, I was like, this movie's awesome. And yeah, I mean, Goodfellas is great. Everyone's awesome in it. Joe Pesci's in it. Ray Liotta, it was nice to see him do more great roles like this, but whatever. Um, there's not much to say about this movie. Unfortunately, the only bad thing about this movie is it kind of spawned a bunch of wannabes in the sense that, like Boogie Nights is just Goodfellas in the adult film industry. Wolf of Wall Street is just Goodfellas in the financial industry. That's like the only bad thing, but that's not really his fault. Goodfellas is great. Everyone loves Goodfellas. This movie is actually recently purchased. I was kind of dreading going into that. I knew I wanted to watch it because it might be good and it's a classic. So sometimes you like to watch films just to be in the conversation. But Good Morning Vietnam, I was wholly wrong on this. I was really impressed by how much I like this movie. Robin Williams, this might be his best role. I mean, he kills it in this. I mean, this is Robin Williams at his best, playing a morning radio talk show host. I mean, this is Robin Williams improvising quick, funny jabs, one after the other, one after the other. It's great. And then there's a second act event that happens. When I made the switch, I said, okay, this is no longer a good movie. This is a great movie. This is a really, I would, if you're on the fence on this one, watch it. I was actually really impressed with this movie. Please watch Good Morning Vietnam. Good time. Have I talked about my love for Robert Pattinson? So my original man crush was Tom Hardy. I watched the movie Warrior. That was also kind of a formative film for me. And I was like, this dude is awesome. And I want traps like that. And he looked good too. And then Tom Hardy was in like a real string of awesome movies, and he was awesome in there. You had like Bronson, you had Warrior, you had Inception, you had Dark Knight Rises, you had The Revenant, you had The Drop, you had Locke. Remember Locke? Um, oh God, I'm sure there's more. What am I missing? Yeah, and there were other good ones, and he was my man crush. Then he did Venom, and he stopped doing good things after that. So I needed a new man crush, and that was Robert Pattinson. I watched the movie. What did I watch? What did I watch first? It may have been this. It may have been this. It was either this or The Lighthouse, and I was like, "This dude is awesome." And I started watching all of his movies, and I was like, "This is great." Now, this is essentially Uncut Gems. If you've seen that, this is Uncut Gems is essentially an unofficial sequel to this movie. Same directors, same kind of story, same kind of plot, and same kind of main characters. Nonetheless, I do prefer this a little more than Uncut Gems. Robert Pattinson's great. I also like the Under Captain now. I can't remember his name, but he's in this, and he's really good too. So if you like Uncut Gems, this is a very stressful and anxious movie, and it does robberies really well. It does the sort of tracking shots really well. It's a solid movie. When I was 11, I thought this was like the greatest movie of all time until I watched The Departed at 12, and then that became the greatest movie of all time, the height of cinema. It's a little corny. It's a little corny, but it is solid nonetheless. Robin Williams is really good. He's playing it pretty subtle. Matt Damon's good too. The only problem with this movie is he's like Goethe, dude. Like he's beyond Goethe. He's not just a genius in math, which it'd be one thing if you were a math genius and you just kind of looked at a board and you're like, this is stupid. But he doesn't just do it in math. He does it in like math, physics, chemistry, everything, history, law. Like, what is this? This is genuinely like Goethe. Take his power and square it, and then you got this. It's just a little much. But this is good. It's all good. I could go for a rewatch of this Gran Torino. I remember not thinking it was perfect, but I like the arc in this, and I think I don't want to get too political here, but it kind of makes a statement on race that I think is actually really interesting, and I think kind of holds up. Um, character is determined more by actions than words, and I think Clint Eastwood's character has to learn that. Words mean one thing, but they can also always be like a shield or a psychological weird thing. Focus on someone's actions, but this is about get off my lawn, that kind of grandpa in Detroit, and of course Detroit is gang ridden, and there's the gang ridden between I believe is the Chinese and just the normal citizens of Detroit, the American. And there's all these problems, and it's good. He kind of plays a badass old man grandpa killer, and that's pretty badass. This might be on the chopping block. I don't know. All I can remember from this movie is the effects looked really good and cringing as Sandra Bullock going woof 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 in space. I thought that was really cringe, but this might be on the chopping block. The Guest, another one that might be on the chopping block. Not because I don't remember liking it. I remember watching this once and I liked it, but I don't remember much from it. It didn't make much of an impact, and I haven't watched it since like 2017. So I can't speak too much on this movie, but I remember I liked Dan Stevens in this. He was pretty good, but might be on the chopping block. We'll see. All right, I'm just gonna do all these at once. So we have, let's see, okay. So we have Harry Potter, Sorcerer's Stone, one of the worst, still good. Chamber of Secrets, the worst, but still good. Then we have Prisoner of Azkaban, Goblet of Fire, Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, and Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. So we have all of Harry Potter. Now, I was just telling a friend about this. Name me a single film franchise that is 8 films in and is that consistently good. You cannot do it. Star Wars, no. Fast and Furious, don't even start. They only have one good movie. Star Trek, no. Jurassic Park, no. Indiana Jones, no. List them. Go ahead, list them out. You're never going to find one that is this consistently good. And I'm going to say something that might seem a little contrarian, but guess what? Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, which seems to be collectively considered the worst of all, this is the best one. This is the best Harry Potter. I'll go beyond that. This is a perfect Harry Potter film. It balances everything. It's got a great story. It's got Uh, a great shift in tone. It's whimsical at times. It's very dark at times. Very serious at times. The acting is awesome. You get all the great characters. Sirius Black is great in this. Gary Oldman. You get, of course, all these three guys. You get Voldemort. Name me another Harry Potter film where Voldemort and Dumbledore throw down. You cannot do it. And when they do it, it is awesome. It has stakes. Important people die in this movie. Characters grow and change and they're volatile. It has great villains because one, you see a ton of Voldemort in this, which you don't really see in all the other films except for maybe Deathly Hallows Part 1 or 2. Um, and you get Dolores Umbridge, who everyone hates, and that's a proof that that's a good character. You were supposed to hate her. It's 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 funny. It's everything. Like there's nothing wrong with this. I cannot wrap my mind around this idea that this is the worst film. It's just absurd on its face. It is a perfect Harry Potter film. There's tons of action. There's great dialogue. There's great character moments. Everything is balanced. I just, I'm not even trying to sound like a contrarian. The Hateful Eight, and the rest of, by the way, the rest of the Harry Potter movies are awesome. Not perfect by any means, but that's kind of to be expected when you have 8 films. But yeah, I love the Harry Potter films. I haven't read the books, but the films are pretty great. The Hateful Eight. Lucky enough to see this in theaters. Just a kind of great classic movie. It does fall into the tropes. I kind of knew where it was going, just thinking like, okay, well, this is obviously going to end in some shootout, and there's going to be someone hidden somewhere, and sure enough. But all the acting is great. I think Samuel L. Jackson's doing a little over the top, but that's kind of what he does. Okay, I almost forgot about this. Walton Goggins in this movie, and I don't want to sound like a contrarian. I genuinely believe this is my favorite performance in any Tarantino film ever. He is dynamite in this film. Well, I'm the sheriff of Red Rock. What my daddy fought for was dignity in defeat and the face of an unconditional surrender. He is so good in this movie. Oh my god. Walton Goggins is great. Sometimes I just look up his scenes on YouTube and I just watch. He is so funny. But everyone else is great in this too. It's kind of classic Tarantino. Heat. This movie is very good. This movie is also very overrated. Some of you guys describe this as the best movie of the 90s. You are woefully wrong. Um, it's not even close to that, but it is a good movie. It's a little too long. Al Pacino is funny in this. When you got a great ass, doing all this over the top Pacino stuff. De Niro is really good in it. Val Kilmer, our rest in peace, he is very good in this. It's well directed. It's a really good movie. It is not the best movie in the 90s. It is not the best action movie of the 90s. It's pretty simple and it's executed well, but again, if you're going to do De Niro and Pacino, I would argue you should be doing either The Irishman or you should be doing, preferably, Godfather 2. That is the best De Niro Pacino. This movie is one of my favorites, and maybe not one of the best necessarily. I'm not saying it's like one of the greatest films of all time, but it's one of my favorites. Hell or High Water. This is one of the most underrated movies of the decade, of the 2010s, I believe. Everyone is dynamite in this. Jeff Bridges is great. Chris Pine probably gives my favorite performance of his career. So does Ben Foster. Ben Foster is like the wild card. He is so good in this. And Chris Pine's kind of like the cooler headed, but also green and rookie. What these guys do is they rob banks because of economic depression or whatever, but they don't do it stupidly. They have a systemic plan, and it's not, they only take so much because they don't want to get the feds involved, and they have this sort of grand plan. And his two brothers, and I love this movie. I love the way it's shot. I love the way the robberies are filmed. I love the character dynamics. It's beautiful. Some of the sunsets are great. The soundtrack is great. Let the World Call Me a Fool by not Willie Nelson. Was it Waylon Jennings? Just because you asked me to, I got that song from this movie. Yeah, this movie's awesome. You got to watch it. It's action packed. It's fun, but there's enough character moments too. And it's Taylor Sheridan at his best. Now he's kind of annoyed me recently, but maybe not. Sicaria's probably a little better. Sure, but I think this is up there. It's definitely better than Windberg. This could go for a rewatch. I remember really liking this when I watched it. This is a great movie to sort of comment on our modern times. It does it in a way, but it's not too heavy-handed. I like Joaquin Phoenix is really great in this. I think he is better in this than he is in The Joker. I do not understand why everyone said that's his career best performance. Not even top 3. He was better in this. He was better in The Master, not even close, and he was better in Gladiator. So no, he was not that good in Joker, but he's great in this. And it's about falling in love with an AI voice, falling in love with a what do they call it, ASMR kind of voice thing, played by Scarlett Johansson, and this hyper modern simulacrum kind of thing going on here. It's very postmodern in a way. Actually, I take it back. It's not postmodern. It's hyper modern. Um, Solid movie. Could go for a rewatch. This movie. Okay, so remember when I said I had a lifelong fear of horror films? So for like a solid 10 to 15 years, I just didn't watch them. One day I was working and it just struck me one day. I just had this overwhelming desire to watch this movie, Hereditary. And I'm glad I did. This is a great movie. I kind of like it. The end, it could go for a rewatch. I understand why people don't like it, but the first act sort of event that happens, or the twists here, is shocking and really powerful. And Toni Collette in this movie is so good. Oh my God, Toni Collette is so good in this movie. Um, the Little Girls movie, I remember the Naked Brother band. Remember them? One of them is in this movie. And yeah, this is a horror film. It's kind of a family drama too, but it's really well executed. I love the play with shadows. I love the direction in this. I haven't liked an Ari Aster movie since this, unfortunately, but this is when he's at his best. I mean, the direction is beautiful. The shot composition is great. The colors are great, and the play with shadows is really good. This is tense, kind of scary. Um, please watch this movie if you have. Hereditary is great. And just for Toni Collette alone is just so good. John Cusack, High Fidelity. I watched this recently. Now, I remember really liking this, except for this sort of love story aspect, because I just don't find that interesting. But I rewatched it with my girl, and I remember actually kind of enjoying it. This is my favorite Jack Black performance. Maybe School of Rock could come in there too. He is so good in this. He plays like a snob hipster who both works at a vinyl shop, but also convinces people out of purchasing vinyls at the store because they don't meet his artistic taste. And he says they're terrible. So no, you don't actually want to buy this. You want to buy the new Black Country New Road or the new Slint album, I guess at the time. But John Cusack's really good. It's I like the music aspect. I love music. I'm probably going to do my record collection after this video or after this series. And yeah, it's nice to see John Cusack in a good movie instead of just trash, which he's usually in. The Holdovers. This is a good movie. It's a little overhyped. I did not like this guy. I don't like his face. Look at that face. I mean, it takes one to know one. Look at that face. It's just, I don't like it. Um, this woman's Divine, I think it is. Yeah, Divine Joy Randolph. She was really good in the movie. Her character was a little underwritten. I think they gave her something to deal with, but they didn't really establish an arc for her. It was almost made me wonder why it's even in here. But this is another like family, emotional, human relationships kind of. No guns going off in this. Paul Giamatti's playing a history professor, who's um, he's watching over at college, and then there's winter break. But for whatever reason, there's a few holdovers, so to speak, from the school. So he has to watch them, and then they bond and discover parts of themselves. It's pretty good. It's not Alexander Payne's best. Okay. When I was young, when I was in high school, my dad, he said, "Listen, I'm going to Seattle for work, and if you want, I would appreciate it if you could sort of house sit for me." I said, "You got it, bud." So I go over to his house. I'm like 17, 18 years old, maybe 16, and I don't have any parental supervision. So I bought some. I apologize to my grandparents if they're watching this. Brownies that were filled with not just chocolate, we'll say, and I ate them, and they were really effective. And I remember just being so stoned. And so I wanted to laugh because I knew I was going to be eating a lot of brownies. So I'm going through Netflix, and everyone talked about this movie, Hot Fuzz, and I thought, okay, like let's try it. Now I don't know if you've seen this movie, but this movie is very funny. It is also one of the best written scripts of all time, any genre. It is an incredible script. The amount of callbacks that this script makes, and the amount of, or I should say, the solid execution of those callbacks and all the character arcs and all the references. It really is brilliant. Edgar Wright's a brilliant filmmaker. when those brownies started to kick in at the same time as all these callbacks started to happen, I sincerely remember having the thought, I think this is the greatest film of all time. I think I stumbled into like the peak of cinema. It was I just wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like a dodgeball kind of thing, and that's not what this is. But I'm glad it is. And this movie is awesome. This movie is awesome. Super funny. The script is awesome. The acting is great. Simon Pegg is great. Nick Frost. This movie's awesome. You got to watch Hot Fuzz. Hotel Rwanda, a bit of a different tone here. Don Cheadle was very good in this. Of course, this is a film about a very sensitive subject, a very tragic subject, and I think it does a good job of communicating the seriousness and the tragedy. Now, of course, you can never do a perfect job. This is a film. I think a documentary would probably do better, but you also don't want to see people getting their heads cut off. But yeah, I mean, of course, I'm on the East Coast in America. I have no direct connection to this at all, but I can only empathize and just think this is just such a terrible predicament or circumstance to be in. It's just awful. It really is humanity at its worst. And of course, the UN failed, we'll say. I am not a fan of the UN. But as a movie, this is good. It's well acted. It's not amazing. I remember Joaquin Phoenix's character was just kind of a waste of time. Nick Nolte was good, and of course, Don Cheadle was really good. I think this is probably his best performance, but definitely worth watching at least once. This movie might be on the chopping block, even though I did like it. Hot Tub Time Machine. Not all the jokes land. It's a very stupid movie. It's definitely not like an artistic Ingmar Bergman film, but it is funny, kind of. It's dumb. You can kind of laugh at it. Craig Robinson's in it. The 80s references are okay. I generally don't love the 80s. I think they're an aesthetically bankrupt decade. Generally, you will always find exceptions. Nonetheless, I actually kind of enjoyed the references. It's pretty good. It's silly. It's dumb. I think it's good to have this in the collection to not be too serious. A lot of these films are kind of serious. Oh, this. I don't even know why I put this back in my thing. House of Gucci. I rewatched this and I remember not liking it. I remember that I liked the first act. Of course, Adam Driver. Oh, that's what it is. So Adam Driver does the same accent he does. He does Italian Gucci, right? He plays Maurizio Gucci, and so he does an Italian accent. But then if you watch him in the film The Last Duel, he plays a French guy, and he does a French accent. Then if you watch him in the film Silence, he does a Portuguese accent. In reality, he's just doing the same accent for each one. So it's French, Italian, and Portuguese apparently all speak the exact same according to Adam Driver. This movie kind of sucks. Jared Leto in this movie is just, oh man, I have no idea what this was. Again, Ridley Scott, the direction actually wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Again, the script sucks, and Lady Gaga just became a parody, like a caricature. Just dumb. Yeah, this is dumb. I want to burn this. Get out of here. The Hunt. Yes, not that new film, The Hunt, about like killing Trump supporters or whatever it was. This is a film about Mads. It's a foreign film about Mads Mikkelsen. He's a normal guy, and he gets accused of falsely, and that's not a spoiler. Um, it's pretty upfront about that. Falsely accused of probably the worst thing you could be doing, at least in Western society, and that is inappropriate relations with children. And it's such a fascinating look at that and how the hunt, what kind of hunt, the witch hunt perhaps, and it really is a story about truth, lies, believing things because you would feel bad not to do it, taking precaution, but precaution going too far, what it means for something to be true. And it was funny. I remember I was talking about this. So he gets accused by a child. Now, this isn't really a spoiler, it's part of the plot. Now, the child's father is actually a friend of his. And I remember talking, it might have been with someone at the bar, but he was like, I don't understand why that guy immediately, betrayed Mads Mikkelsen's character and he kind of threw him to the wolves and didn't really believe him. It's like, well, it's his daughter telling him this. Like, it's not just some random kid. If it was some random kid, of course you would want to hear out your friend at least. Not, it's possible he did it, but in this case he didn't. And But I think it's a little different if it's your daughter giving you the accusation. I think it's the rush to irrationality is a little more excusable. And I have a feeling if it was in real life and that happened to that person, he might change his tune. But this is a really great movie. Mads Mikkelsen is awesome in this. He's going pretty subtle. It's so odd though. His character is a little odd. He kind of digs a grave for himself a little bit because he gets confronted on this and he doesn't offer the best denial. It's very odd. He almost seems shocked, but in doing so, in his shock, he doesn't offer the best denial, and I think he should have. I think he should have been very clear, like, "Hey, I understand there's confusion. I don't want to ruin anything, but this did not happen, and you will not destroy my life over something that did not happen." Nonetheless, please watch this movie. If you're into foreign films, it's pretty accessible for foreign films. So that is where we will end it for this video. I love you guys as always. I appreciate you guys watching this. I was honestly expecting like 2 to 3 views, literally 2 to 3 views on these. So hopefully, if you guys are watching this, means you guys like me to at least some extent, that you're willing to hear my thoughts on other things. So I really appreciate that. That really does mean a lot to me. Hope you guys are thriving in life. If you guys are interested in talking on the channel, on the show, on the YouTube or whatever, just leave a comment and we'll link up. You guys are the best. I miss you. I love you. And I will see you guys either Sunday or Monday with a new Gebser video. And then next week, I'm going to try to do another Kill Rationalism video. But we'll see. I don't want to get too lost on that. Just dropped a new Substack about the internet and how that could be a sign of integral consciousness structure, just as the book was a manifestation of and propagator of the mental consciousness structure. If you guys want to check out my Substack, I'll leave it linked in the description. Love you guys, and I will see you soon in the next video.